The Nigerian Senate has passed the bill for an act to authorize from the Revenue Fund of the Federation the total sum of 7,440,175,486,758 naira for the 2017 budget. The lawmaker in the Committee of Supply passed the budget after clause-by-clause consideration of the report of the Committee on Appropriation. The chairman of the Senate Committee on Appropriation, Senator Danjuma Goje, opened the floor for the passage of the budget.
The budget contains estimates of revenue and expenditure in the aggregate sum of 7,298,507,709,937 naira only.
Deputy Senate President Ike Kremadu said the 2016 budget was a product of consultation.
There were a lot of consultations with the executive, especially the very relevant ministers and ministries and agencies, that led to the easy consideration of this budget. I do believe that with those considerations that had taken place, the executive will in very, very short period find it necessary to sign this budget so that implementation will start in earnest. And finally, let me also state that we have moved from the budget cycle of January to December. Now we are doing May to May. It is important that we call on the executive to present the budget for 2018 early enough to enable us return to the budget cycle of January to December.
Senate leader Ahmed Lawa also commended the relationship between the executive and National Assembly on the budget passage.
The legislature and the executive has been wonderful on this budget. And I believe that we can achieve similar desirable outcomes on other issues too, if we continue with the process of engagement, cooperation, and partnership. So next year, by the grace of God, we can do even better when we start the process much more earlier.
Senate Minority Leader Godswill Akpabio commended the Senate for doing a thorough job, one, however, that they need to implement the budget to the later.
For the first time since 1999, we now have a budget that is presented together with details. And this is as a result of the cooperation between all arms, all the parties present in these chambers by looking at one Senate instead of looking at the partisan nature. So first, let me say that the 2016 budget was not as robustly done as this one, and even the implementation fell short of what we used to do before 2016. One of the things that you would have noticed is that a budget is just a paper. It is the implementation that matters. And we have said time without number that the idea of expending over 78% of the national revenue on recurrent expenses cannot put something on the ground. You can't put something on nothing and expect it to stand. If we do not do our best to unbundle the federal government and close the loopholes of leakages in the system and then release more money for capital projects, then Nigerians will continue to hope that one day they will have good roads, good rail networks and others, and that will be a mirage.
Senator Dino Melai, in his own part, commended the National Assembly for making the details of its budget to the public as captured in the budget report.
A budget of the National Assembly will be open. When I saw the copies of the budget as presented to us this morning, and I saw indeed that the budget of the National Assembly is not just open, but is explicitly open in the budget. I congratulate the chairman of the National Assembly. I also congratulate the Speaker of the House of Representatives and indeed the entire leadership of the National Assembly.
Going by the details of the budget, 434 billion naira is meant for statutory transfer, debt service to GOP 1.8 trillion naira. Meanwhile, recurrent expenditure will go up 2.9 trillion naira. With this development, the Senate and the House of Representatives has passed a harmonized 2017 appropriation bill with total budget estimate of 7.4 trillion naira.
This budget that we've passed, you recall, enable us to record a number of firsts. This is the first time we've had public hearing as part of the process of the 2017 Appropriation Act. The level of engagements and contribution of the civil society has played a part in making this budget a different and a remarkable one. Another first we achieved is seeing that the line-by-line details of the budget was laid down along with the bill. Again, this is a great achievement on the part of us, and I commend you all. Another first we've achieved is making the budget of the National Assembly available to the public, which has been an issue for a long time. I'm very proud of what you've all been able to achieve, and we do hope that this budget of recovery that we believe has reflected equity, it has ensured efficiency and adequate resources to all relevant sectors, will go a long way in helping Nigerians to come out of the economic recession and create growth.
The passage of the budget comes 6 months after the budget presentation by President Muhammadu Buhari. Also, the National Assembly has released breakdown of the 2017 budget. From National Assembly, Muiwa Bamdele reporting.
Chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, have reiterated the Commission's readiness to make further elections in the country better than the 2015 general election. INEC Chairman made this known when he received the new United States Ambassador to Nigeria, Mr. Stat Smithson, at the Commission's headquarters in Abuja. He said the Commission would clean up voter registration, conclude ongoing continuous voters registration in all local governments before the 2019 general elections.
One of the ingredients for the success of the 2015 election was planning. There was a strategic plan. The strategic plan came to an end or expired in 2016, and now we have a new strategic plan that will take us to the 2019 elections and beyond. So we'll continue to plan. We'll continue to harvest the views and comments of Nigerians. One of the new innovations that we have introduced, the continuous voter registration, is part of this process of consultation. We have now abridged accreditation and voting in Nigeria as part of the process of consultation and input. So we'll continue to harvest these processes, these consultations, this advice, these inputs for the purpose of improving on our elections. As you know, it's not just the Americans, but many other countries that we visited on election observation. They are full of praise for the way the 2015 election was conducted. And questions were asked about how did we manage these elections in spite of all the predictions of doom and gloom. But you know, the credit doesn't go to INEC or anybody else. The credit for what happened in 2015 goes to the Nigerian people. At the end of the day, what INEC does is to collect the wishes of the people. And we have given our commitment as a commission that we will continue to respect the wishes of the Nigerian people. Only Nigerians can determine who becomes their leader at any level of elections conducted. So in other words, the credit doesn't go to anybody in particular, the credit goes to the Nigerian people.
Mahmoud, when asked by newsmen whether INEC is seeking any financial help from the United States, said the Commission had no intention to seek help from any country, describing it as a Nigerian problem which it must carry.
No, we never asked for assistance. We are very clear in our minds that elections are sovereign issues. INEC will never go to any country in the world to ask for help in conducting our elections. The Nigerian government is responsible for the conduct of elections. And because it is a sovereign issue, we leave it as such.
The U.S. Ambassador, while commending INEC for a successful election in 2015, said the election, which was widely accepted, had helped Nigeria to play a leading role expected of it in Africa.
Nothing more important for any country than the connection between its people and its leaders. And what informed my visit today with my colleagues was to learn how it is that Nigeria conducts elections. And That's what I did. You know how important I think that you in the press are. So I will say this one word. Thank you. Thank you to the people of Nigeria and to your commission. I've learned a lot today, and I continue to learn more. So I was here to learn, and I've learned a lot, and I'm very grateful. So profound thank you.
In Abuja, LM Chukwemeka reports.
Hi, Mike.
Babe, it's been over 12 hours. Are you done thinking about it? Is the answer yes?
Convince me.
I know how much confidence style mean to you. Let me take you somewhere.
Where? What's that?
A superior leading international hospitality chain in the heart of Africa.
And?
They offer very distinct services. Their meeting halls and all their hotels offer conference solutions that can help plan a perfect function for any occasion. They feature outdoor catering and provide services for any size event.
Keep going. You got me thinking now.
The beauty, the decor, and the views. It's the hotel experience you always dreamed of. They have up-to-date entertainment and a variety served at the fast food restaurant and snack bar. Oh, and don't even get me started on the garden bar or the nightclub. You would have everything you need within your reach without having to go out.
Wow. So what if I want to...
Cook? They got you, babe. The rooms are thoughtfully furnished with facilities that aid proper cooking, just like you would at home.
Where is this place?
And it's Suites.
Wow.
So, will you marry me?
Yes. How can I refuse?
Not at Suites, a colorful affair.
Following investors' bid to establish modular refineries, the Minister of State for Petroleum, Ibe Kachiku, has expressed fears that the move will worsen the rate of gas flaring in the country. Kachiku said this in Abuja during the presentation of the report on new Nigerian oil and gas framework and policy by the Nigerian African Oil and Gas Diaspora Community. The minister, who was represented by his senior technical advisor, Timothy Okon, however, said government will control the operations of the refineries.
We have had quite a lot of interest in modular refineries. So I want to say what I said in Houston, pour some cold water on some concepts of modular refining that will clearly be undesirable. And that is those who think that you can do 1,000 barrel a day refinery and then it's Niger Delta is littered with many of these. It will worsen our flares in the first place, because what the gas flare commercialization study shows that we have gas flares in about 138 clusters. And if you add 200 modular refineries doing 1,000 barrels of oil a day, there goes another 200 flare locations in the Niger Delta. That's not the intention of the policy. Of course, you have to use economies of scale, but I want to interest you in a broad study that we need to do, which has to do with Niger Delta security, modular refineries, and it's an integrated way of trying to look at the Niger Delta. We're seeking to have built in some kind of redundancy such that our reliance on these export pipelines to those terminals are not as much as we currently have, so an alternative system.
The minister, however, encouraged investors to take advantage in the sector as government is opening up the sector for participation.
We encourage companies and investors who can come in and identify the opportunities and can take those opportunities and monetize them in a form that can lead to economic growth. And so, for those of you who either have companies or have access to technologies, etc. There, the 7 big wins and much of what we hope to do, whether in terms of releasing of acreages, will open up the space to people to participate. That participation will be based on certain rules and criteria. For example, I want to mention the gas flare elimination project, which is a project that has an immediacy around it. That is, by June, we will throw open the opportunity for people to decide whether they want to participate in capturing flared gas and using modern available technologies and modular, which has been modularized in many cases, to either do extraction facilities, liquefaction facilities, or gas conversion type facilities like GTLs, etc. But this time using flared gas. So that process has an immediacy about it.
Earlier, the group said Nigeria's legal and regulatory framework for oil and gas sector had no wholesale overhaul since 1969 and recommended that the sector be subjected to a major review of 5 to 10 years.
We will present this back to you, not only individual wise, but as a separate commingling center, the way it is done globally, especially in North Sea, where these technologies are advanced. So we present that
partnership as well as getting most of this hydrocarbon after the production down to the storage to the level where every drop of hydrocarbon produced will be accounted on that system like it's been done in order globally.
Intelligent security solutions for pipelines and assets. We know these are big issues in Nigeria. Technical assurance consulting, like Pastor Mark had said earlier. Integrated solutions for refinery projects or upgrades. IT solutions for revenue collection. We know this is another key area which was highlighted in the 7 big wins as well. Decommissioning, like I said earlier, both in terms of strategy, programs, schedules, the expertise for that, systems for this, capacity development in terms of technical training. Like I said, OPITO in the UK, which is an internationally known certification body, university or institutes of technical training also, then gas to power projects, modular refineries, LNG plants, FPSOs, FLNG were highlighted, and they showed there was some demonstration. Some papers are written in the...
Looking back a little bit at history, we looked a little bit at history. Oil was discovered in commercial quantity in 1956 in Nigeria. Oil production started in 1958. And then the first Petroleum Act, well, the only Production Act, as it were, came in 1969. And when we looked at the history of that, we saw that Petroleum Act was well crafted, taking consequence of what has happened, in the previous 10 years. So it was a perfect job. But then when we look behind that, we see that since 1969, there's not been any major full and wholesale review of the industry. And that's why we are recommending that going forward, there should be a continuous review of the policies and structures and framework of this industry. And in that regard, we are suggesting that these reviews should, as a very minimum, should happen on a 5 to 10 year life cycle. 10 years in the sense that it took the first government to do it, the first Petroleum Act. So as a very minimum, there should be a full scale review every 10 years.
Awesome for Ben Television.
A few hours after another 82 kidnapped girls of government secondary school Chibok that were until now in the hands of Boko Haram insurgents met with President Muhammadu Buhari after regaining their freedom, Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima has led a delegation of Borno indigents on a thank-you visit to the presidential villa to show appreciation for the commitment of this administration to the release of the girls. Receiving the delegation in Abuja, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo said that this administration's commitment to rebuilding the Northeast is not in doubt, as there are now need for the review of the welfare packages to the victims of Boko Haram insurgents, especially Chibok community in Borno State, adding that current allocation for humanitarian services in the region was grossly inadequate to cater for the people whom he said had been traumatized as a result of the exposure to insurgent activities. Speaking earlier, the Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima said the delegation was in the villa to convey the mood and appreciation of the people of Borno State to the President, the armed forces and security personnel on their effort in securing the release of these girls, while expressing optimism that the remaining girls regain their freedom soon enough. On her part, the Minister of Women Affairs, Aisha Al-Hassan, who is in custody of the 21 girls released earlier and the additional 82 girls, said her ministry is doing everything possible to make sure that the girls get best of medical care in order to be reunited with their parents.